PSG have reached the Champions League final for the first time since the 2019-20 COVID season under Thomas Tuchel. But this season under Luis Enrique, it feels different. Last summer, they lost one of the most important players in Kylian Mbappe. But believe it or not, they have gotten better. So in this video, we're going to analyze how Luis Enrique has improved PSG by looking at their in and out of possession setup, their standout players this season, and how their style could redefine football in the coming years. Let's get into it. The sale of Kylian Mbappe marked the end of the Galactico era at PSG. As the summer before, Neymar was sold and the birth of a new transfer strategy at PSG came to life. This new transfer strategy approach hasn't meant that the spending has slowed down. No, but a new profile of players have been brought in. Young, hungry, talented players from France or across Europe. Since the 2023 summer transfer window, some notable signings include Bradley Barcola from Lyon, Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona, Gonzalo Ramos from Benfica, William Pacho from Frankfurt, Desiree Edoué from Stade Rennes, João Neves from Benfica, and most recently Richard Gravazzella from Napoli. All these signings shows a new transfer strategy, and in the first season of Luis Enrique, we saw a hint of a new PSG, with them reaching the Champions League semi-final, but this season he has taken them to a whole new level. Let's see how he's done that by starting with PSG in possession. Last season, when Luis Enrique arrived at PSG, he implemented a 4-3-3 shape we saw him use with Spain and Barcelona, but with a new look front three of Mbappe, Colomouani and Dembele. And PSG looked to create triangle-based rotations and combination play on the sides, and the 4-3-3 with the positioning of the players enabled this, but Enrique ran into a problem, and one of the main reasons why the 4-3-3 formation has become unpopular in elite football in the modern day. The reason being the team are too far apart. For example, the fullback should play inside, not wide. This is because the team can combine better due to the positioning of two players in the half spaces and one wide, rather than two wide and one in the half space. Also, the number 6 can connect with the team better. Here's a quick example. The first image shows a team in a standard 4-3-3. Look how disconnected they are in the build-up unit, which makes ball circulating difficult, and also the team are vulnerable to conceding easy counterattacks. The second image shows what happens when you invert your fullbacks. The wide combinations are still there, and most importantly, the team is now connected because they are close together. And with the standard 4-3-3, Enrique's PSG struggled in possession as they didn't have elite quality in the build-up unit with Ugarte, Skriniar and Donnarumma. To solve this, Enrique changed into a 3-2-5 system. Instead of inverting both fullbacks, Enrique came up with a solution that suited the quality of his players, with Hernandez tucked into the back three and Hakimi positioned high and wide on the right to form the 3-2-5 shape. Then instead of playing three midfielders, Enrique started Barcola wide with Mbappe tucked inside alongside Dembele, with the freedom to rotate, which brought to life the fluid PSG you've come to know today. Luis Enrique's first season showed a lot of promise with the team reaching the Champions League semi-final, but the sale of Kylian Mbappe and the signings of Gravazzella and Desiree Doué allowed Enrique to evolve this team even more. In central position, that's where we see the brilliance of this PSG side. Last season they adopted a 3-2-5 shape, this season they adopt a 3-3-4 shape, but the fluidity and rotations in this shape are absolutely incredible. So I'm gonna try and explain all of it. First, the back three. I would describe them as anchors, as they don't really look to move forward, instead look to dictate possession from the back. And this back three include two of the center backs, with the left back tucked inside. But sometimes Vitinha can drop deep into the first line, pushing Mendes higher. In this shape, the wide center backs are encouraged to carry the ball forward, to bait opposition to jump and press, which creates space centrally. Second, the three midfielders. I would describe them as flexible because they're so adaptable to the movement of the players around them. For example, Vitinha can stay in the middle or drop into the first line. João Neves can run in behind when Dembele decides to drop deep. Fabian Ruiz can stay in the middle or decide to drop into the first line as well. Their positional awareness is incredible. Third, the front four. It's usually made up of the front three plus the right back Hakimi. I would describe them in two functions. They are the withholders and the floaters. The withholders look to stay high and wide and stress the opposition back line, and the floaters, usually Dembele and either the right winger, have the freedom to drop deep into midfield to create overloads, or they can move wide, completely vacating the center to create 2v1s against opposition fullbacks. This freedom has become a huge weapon for PSG to break down elite pressing structures, and both of Dembele's goals against Liverpool and Arsenal showed this, and they are also incredibly dangerous on the counter-attack. Now let's look at Luis Enrique's PSG out of position. For a long time, PSG have been considered too easy to play against because of their passive press, but not anymore. Under Enrique, they are aggressive, intense, and compact. In his first season, we saw PSG adopt a man-to-man pressing structure in both their 4-3-3 and 3-5 shapes. But with Kylian Mbappe in the team, there was always a limit on the effectiveness of the press. But we saw signs of a new culture developing at PSG. This season, they've become one of the best teams in Europe. Looking at the numbers, PSG averaged 5.5 high turnovers per game, of which 1.5 of them lead to shots per game. And when we look at their passes per defensive actions, we see a gradual increase in the pressing intensity. But this season, it has remained high and consistent, which is all down to Luis Enrique. Now, before we look at PSG tactic that is breaking many teams' pressing structure, let's look at their standout players this season. Just looking at the numbers, PSG's most prolific player is Ousmane Dembele. He has had an incredible season with 43 goal contributions in all competitions, with 32 goals and 11 assists. Bradley Barcola, Desiree Doué, Gonzalo Ramos have also chipped in with goals and assists, and the January signing of Gvardiol has added to the firepower of PSG's attack. Apart from the numbers, there are players in this team that I've really enjoyed watching this season. First, the two fullbacks. Nuno Mendes and Achraf Hakimi are honestly the best fullback pairings in the world of football. They offer Enrique's team so much going forward with either underlapping or overlapping runs, but they are also defensively solid. Second are the three midfielders, Vitinha, João Neves, and Fabian Ruiz. From first view, you might think that's a lightweight midfield, but against Liverpool, across the two legs, they won 30 out of their 40 ground duels. So they are competent defensively, and their strength is how good they are technically. Their positional awareness and movement is incredible. Now let's look at the tactic that is breaking elite pressing teams. In the past couple of seasons, we've seen a trend of elite teams using high pressing, man-to-man hybrid system. The main reason being it allows them to put constant pressure on the ball while maintaining a nice compact defensive structure. But both Dembele's goals against Arsenal and Liverpool away showed how Luis Enrique has found a solution to this. This is how they did it. In the first phase of their build-up in the 4-3-3 shape, PSG looked to move the ball to the left to invite pressure. This triggered the opposition midfielder to jump onto PSG's midfielders. They would then look to vacate the central areas, completely dragging players away from the midfield, which opens space for Dembele to drop in, receive, turn and drive at the back line, with both wingers attacking the sides. Dembele will then look to move the ball wide and then finish off the move. Defend. Anyway, until next time, take care.